Hello and welcome to mUFF, the mobile Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast spin-off show, where Jake, Krin, and myself review the mobile Ultimate Final Fantasy games so that you don't have to, and more importantly, so Joe doesn't have to.
Hello and welcome to mUFF.
Muffin!
Muffers!
Enjoying our muffins every morning.
We're not
Buongiorno.
worthy.
So, this is Bill.
This is Krin.
This is Jake. I hate being called Jake, but that's what the document states. Jake.
That's alright. This is Joe.
Oh, Digimon!
He just loves Digimon.
Yes, he does.
He does, and now he loves Vagrant Story just as much.
I think he might have the legs a little bit better, but it's only time will tell.
Oh yeah, I know he loves Muff.
Oh yeah.
Always. Yeah.
So, how are you guys doing? What have you been up to recently? Been playing any games, Jake?
Yeah, there's a few. Just a tiny few.
Yes, nice short ones.
Yeah, not really short ones, actually.
Oh,
An
sure.
RPG podcast, right?
Any 100+ epics that you've been smashing out? 100+ hours?
I'm starting Dragon Quest VII, and I'm probably doing 100 hours now in Dragon Quest VI.
Oh my
doing
God.
all the extra side content, and leveling up.
Yeah, I think you're doing well to be second in the hog race. At the
And,
moment, so.
There's another 100+ hour RPG that we may be reviewing today.
Oh, yes. Well, for some it may be 100 hours plus.
Yeah.
For others it may be slightly shorter.
Well, some of us, decide to put Auto Battler on their phone. They go and take care of more important shit with life. And then come back to the phone 4 hours later and you go, do I just save the,
Now-
3 battles that I need the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, your guys' way of doing auto battle was not the same way I was doing auto battle.
But we can get to all that grief in the gameplay section. But today we are reviewing Final Fantasy Dimensions 2.
Nope,
You guys
we're not
hyped?
discussing about it. Nope. My therapist told me not to discuss it. I just barely got out of the Sunken Place, all right?
So what'd
I
you do,
need to
send
get
me
out.
$300 your therapist? Your therapist is literally your best friend, right?
Hey, the therapist has cost me more money than it took for me to buy the game, so I want my money back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Square is not giving your money back anytime soon.
No, they're not.
That is 16 quid gone.
Mm-hmm.
Gone forever. Mind you, I don't know about you, Krin. How can you even remember this game? It was so long ago.
Oh, trust me, it's just like a steel trap in the back of my mind. It's just sitting there. Like every other Final Fantasy game in the entire universe is just sitting there, locked away.
It's in specific doses on whether or not you had a good life or a bad life. You realize that bad things happen during bad games.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
They trigger emotions. But you
Trigger
played this
flashbacks.
during your trip, didn't you?
I played it during a cruise that I was on, and it's pretty much the most entertaining thing I had to engage with.
That bad a cruise, eh?
It's just a cruise that was for the family, and I don't think it was really for me. It was nice, but I wasn't.
Oh,
really
yes.
into
This won't be discussed, but I remember a couple of conversations we had based on that kind of a trip. I remember that.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yep.
Let's not- So, moving on, let's try and jog your memory a bit, Krin, anyway, and bring
Okay.
it back to the forefront. Here's the trailer for the wonderful aforementioned Final Fantasy Dimensions 2. Well, it's kind of just going through all the characters, showing them on the screen. This is very boring and very irritating J-pop music. So let's stop this shit right now. I think that's enough of that.
Wow, you guys are really not into J-pop at all.
I'm not a fan. I prefer things on the heavier side of life.
Yeah, I can probably do for some like higher deftones, but I'm more of an EDM kind of person. So this is kind of like the lowest form of EDM. So I'm like, it's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay.
I am not into pop in general, and I usually don't take enough time out of my day to understand and translate the lyrics.
Oh,
so I don't hate it with a passion. Like, I don't want it to like be censored and not exist. I just don't care for it at all, and I'll skip it.
Oh, okay.
It's not baby metal.
No, nothing's better than baby metal.
Oh God.
Oh my God, baby metal has just such a specific tone that you just have to just understand it.
See, this would be much better opening intro for the game.
So what you're saying is every FF game should start with Otherworld from FF10, is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You mean the song that was but wasn't by Rammstein?
No,
Yes.
It wasn't. God.
It was but wasn't. It wasn't Rammstein, but it might as well have been.
Too hot.
Everybody thought it was for like a whole decade.
Definitely the influence behind that song.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, should we talk about development of this game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, the game was officially announced as Jake's favourite game on the 19th
Yes!
of November 2014.
Yes, it was.
And it was, now I think I'll leave someone else to try and pronounce this, the title that it was released under.
Toki no Tsushio, Final Fantasy II, Crystals of Space Time.
Yes, well done. And it was directed by a very good director.
Takeshi Tokita.
Thank you very much. It was one of the 3 directors of the Squaresoft 1995 hit Chrono Trigger. So this guy
But
is
he
coming
wasn't
from
the main
very
one.
good stock.
No, he
that
wasn't.
He wasn't. He's rubbing shoulders with some good company here. That is probably one of the greatest games ever created.
Yes.
It's the greatest
He
RPG
was-
of all time. But we
Yeah,
have
they need more of
Katase
those
to thank
games.
for that.
They need-
being
they-
the director.
They need another game for Chrono Trigger to come out. Another Chrono something.
No, they don't. We will talk about this numerous times for what we're hitting at within the development here. We're gonna figure out some things about this game, but no, we don't.
Oh, not
Yes.
this game. Not this specific game? No. But Chrono
Anything
Trigger.
in the Chrono, because I do not trust Square right now to do it right. I don't.
Well,
Ooh.
Cross has
say-
already got some problems in it that kind of really tinkers on fucking with Trigger, in my opinion. So,
I like the fact they've basically re-released the re-release so that it's the old release.
oh yeah.
They've undone all their changes. But yeah, I mean, this game basically, I hate to say it, Jake, this is the 3rd Chrono Trigger.
Are we just gonna get into it now before we go into the? Okay.
No. We'll continue with development for now. But this game is the 3rd Chrono Trigger. So,
Yeah.
this
I
game
know.
is just-
I know.
I'm not going to call it this Chrono Trigger 3. I'm not.
Magic that goes beyond time, and the characters will travel as part of their adventures. The general director,
Takeshi Tokita.
thank you, said the game aims to involve the nostalgia of
Tokita.
SNES titles, like Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy VI, and Chrono Trigger. So that was what they was aiming for. Now, unfortunately, this game was originally released as a like a social RPG, very much in the way that Brave Exvius and Mobius are.
Yeah, it had some differences when it first came out versus the way we played it.
Exactly. Big differences. But this came out in Japan originally, and after a year and a half of service on October 28th, 2016. Oh, no, yeah, sorry. Oh, I fucked that up.
You're losing track, man. You're losing track. You got to
I am
stay
losing track.
on the ball, man.
So it had a year and a half of service, and then a teaser site was created for the mobile game, which is the version we eventually got.
Right.
And this site just basically had a countdown clock with a lovely piece of artwork from Yoshitaka Amano.
That's
And,
great work. Love his
You
work.
guys can see that on the screen, can't you? That's That's a
It's a
wonderful.
wonderful portrait of Kronos, and then her ability to imbue the time magic.
And in addition, the site included a note from the game director of Legends 2, stating that Final Fantasy is about characters overflowing with personality, dramatic battles about anger and sorrow, and more than anything, fantasy, which we mustn't forget.
It's a little light on the fantasy, but...
Yep. On November 2nd, 2016, the game was officially revealed to be Final Fantasy Legends 2.
Because we definitely got Legends 1.
Yes. Legends, well, let's not forget that was the title of Dimensions 1.
Yep.
But they decided to call it Dimensions and not Legends because we already had the old Game Boy game, Final Fantasy Legends.
Yeah.
Legend. Saga, baby.
Western brains. So...
Yeah, you fucked up that now, didn't you?
Well, I didn't fuck out.
No, I'm meaning Square and their copyrights.
Oh, yeah, Square Enix.
Yeah, they keep changing their titles too often, and make it simple. Just why can't you just go with something like just Dimensions?
They made too many
Because
mistakes.
they're literally using Final Fantasy to sell anything the fucking company has made.
Apart from
And
Dragon Quest.
it literally is just, hey, let's make some money. Let's throw the name FF on it so that we have 22 mobile games that we go through, and none of them are fun.
Well, that's your perspective.
I'm liking Mobius. I will say that, people. All right, when we
Right.
get to Mobius, I am really enjoying Mobius.
Mobius is great. Brave Exvius is pretty good too.
But
Really good.
that's stretching it, Krin. That's stretching it.
So again, this game was officially revealed to be Legends 2, but it would not be a new game. It said it would be a rebranding and a massive update of Final Fantasy Legends, the social RPG that they already had in Japan. So despite the renaming, players could continue their progress from the original version to play where they last stopped. The original 7 chapters
7.
would remain playable.
That's how many there were. There's 7 chapters,
Yeah.
plus the one additional arc that was not part of the game.
Yeah. So the original 7s would remain playable, but they would update the graphics created for Legends 2. The director saying the series' previous title was Warriors of Light and Darkness, which is Dimensions 1. And while the space-time crystal followed that flow, Dimensions 2 is a rebirth. However, the game is not related to Final Fantasy Dimensions at all, despite being named Final Fantasy Dimensions.
Yeah, that's...
But that's just classic.
One tie-in.
FF.
One tie-in.
God.
So on November 10th, 2016, the update was released, naming the game Final Fantasy Legends 2, and the opening was replaced with a new opening containing the remix version of Leia's Timeless Tomorrow.
Was the remix necessary? Have
No.
you heard the original?
We just heard it just then. Oh no, it was a remix version, wasn't it?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not listen to too much J-pop.
Again, that's, your guys' opinion on it is much more different than mine.
I
Yeah,
don't let it get to me, Krin. That's basically what it is. I don't allow myself to be opened up to be gaped.
Surrounds us and penetrates us, surrounds us and penetrates us.
So only 10 months after the relaunch of the title, it was announced in September 2017 that the game would cease services.
Oh, great.
2017.
Game's already shutdown mode.
Yep. So this is the...
Sounds like Justice Monsters 5. Sounds like Games
pretty
Night.
much. Oh god, yeah, there's loads of shit here about it being shut down. So basically, it was completely a load of crap. And they decided to... because the original version was free to play. It was a load of crap. No one was really liking it. So they decided to make a standalone one, which is the one that we got. And that was released
We need
on
money.
October 20. Yep, pay 15 quid. You get the whole game, no fucking about, none of the extra stuff. Everything was updated, all the artwork and everything was massively improved. And then we got our very expensive game. Now, I did check some of the YouTube videos of the original Japanese one, and it is just like Brave Exvius. You'd go in, you could summon signets, you could summon characters. I saw people playing Titus and a few others.
Yeah.
And the game had extra events, like there was a level 90 Chaos Bham-a-hut that you could fight.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Yeah, didn't look it.
did do
I
that.
believe
Did you guys-
Jake did fight the level 99 boss, didn't you?
Yeah.
In this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
there
never
is
got
one
there.
there is one in it, and yeah, the graphics looked really shitty in the original version. So I think we were a little bit lucky with our HD release of it.
I guess.
Thank
Certainly looks a lot better.
I'm still not really okay with Ragdoll physics, though. They look weird.
Oh, I hated the Ragdoll physics. But again, that's more for design.
Have any of you two played the bouncer?
Yes.
Yes, those Ragdoll physics.
Oh, man. That's like Street Fighter on its dumbest quality is what it is.
It just reminds me of I had this game on my old Xbox, which was it was Risk.
Oh.
It was Risk game on the Xbox, and it had General Meow, which was a giant cat, and it was all a bit cartoony, and the graphics of when you had a battle was like that. You'd have loads of men on either side, and as you rolled your dice, they would all die, but they were all ragdoll. And that's how this is what this game reminded me of. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
The character physics are just terrible.
Yeah, they are. It's one of the many leading drawbacks of this game. But we'll get to that after we get to some story.
Mm-hmm. So, note on the story, we are going to spoil the shit out of this.
Well, yeah, because we're one of, us three of the entire 6 people probably that have ever beaten this fucking thing.
Yeah,
Shout out to Duke of Awesome, who I know is listening to this and has beat it as well. I commend your strength in getting through this.
I commend you too. You are a brave warrior, Duke.
Good luck, sir. Good luck in your journey.
But yeah, I think considering the fact that we are going to be the only... Because I have looked on YouTube, there are reviews of the game, but people are only reviewing the first 10 minutes of it and describing it.
Right, so they're doing IGN reviews.
Yeah.
They did not beat it.
Yeah.
They did not beat it at all. They didn't even play it.
Exactly. We are going to be the only people reviewing this game to the full.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to do this properly. Sorry, Jake.
Hey, okay, just to be clear, we are going to be the ones who thoroughly do a legitimate job and not half-ass it.
Exactly. Oh, God damn it. Why are we doing this to ourselves, guys?
So nobody else in the world will ever have to.
That's a very good point.
I thought you thought that way about FF11, and then you decided to rejoin Joe and Schweiss in it. Right, Krin?
Yeah, that's why I go in one more time, we do the whole thing, and I'll never touch it again. Unless somebody pays me a shitload of money, and then it's a different story.
I'd rather pay Joe to play Alone in the Dark.
I would pay $5 to watch that.
Hey, the
Yeah, we have
original
to get...
Alone in the Dark games are not bad. It's just New Nightmare and that Inferno that are horrid.
Do you know what? I played New Nightmare along with them, and I had no problems with it. And I think the fact that I'm probably a bit older than you guys, and I grew up playing tank control games like Resident Evil.
I've played them.
Alone in the Dark.
I mean, how old do you think we are?
A bit younger than me. About 5 years, isn't it? Oh no, Krin, you're quite close to me, aren't you? I forget.
Yeah.
That. I always forget that. Sorry. Well, let's quickly bash out the first chapter because nothing really happens in it.
Yeah, it's just let's get
So,
the tutorial. The tutorial.
Our game starts, and we start with a guy called Morrow.
Wow.
Who's daydreaming about a huge battle. He wakes up, gets slapped in the head by his granddad, Gad, and then we meet Raig, who's a famous adventurer. And then, in true Squaresoft fashion, and as it was mentioned that this game is based on Final Fantasy V, a meteor hits the Earth.
For absolutely no particularly specific reason other than a plot device.
Yes.
No, it's completely a plot device. It's Donnie Darko.
Especially later on where they suddenly squeeze it back in as a plot device. for 5 seconds. Just so you can fight another round of battles. And then, so that's really original Square. Then Raig goes to investigate. Morrow follows, and at the crash site we meet Amio. Is that how you guys are pronouncing it?
Amio, but I'm weird.
I just called her Amo.
Amo. I just kept calling it A after a while.
Amo, what you say, Mo?
And really fucking original Square. She's lost her memory.
Well, you smash your face into the complete concrete wall of an impact crater, and then I'm sure you're going to lose a lot of something else.
I know, but this is just the opening of FF5. A meteor crashes, and you find Golf, and he's fucking can't remember anything.
Yeah, you have me there. You have me there.
Yeah.
But I did notice that Amio's wearing like a battle royale neck bomb.
She is, isn't she?
Yes.
She's got this huge collar around her neck, and it just reminded me of the.
They don't really explain why they're wearing that, though, too.
No, I think it's just to do with. Again, don't want to spoil the next chapter, but to do with her backstory.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like, to make her look a bit more from the time she's supposed to be from.
Because, God, great
Yeah.
design.
But anyway.
Great design.
Yeah. But anyway, so her neck doesn't blow up, unfortunately, and she doesn't start shouting, "Naboo!" But Atmos turns up and sucks us all into the beyond, which is where we meet Kronos, who I have so many problems with, and Mog and Mooti.
I still don't. Why did Square call him that?
I don't know. So
Like-
Mooty's this tiny little purple dragon,
Who in
Which
reality is
which I assume
later.
is some sort of penis joke.
I'm sure there's several of those like underthought like penis jokes in this entire series because it comes
I've
up
got
pretty
a big
fairly
one.
often.
A lot of phallic imagery in their minds.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely big penis joke right at the end of the game.
Oh, yes.
But we'll
Well,
get to
one of the endings of the game.
one of the endings, yes.
Mm.
Now, this Kronos is stuck inside a crystal and asks the party to travel to time to fix all of her mistakes from the past. And this little Mooty dragon decides to follow us after taking a liking to Morrow. And this is basically our main cast. So we've got Morrow, Raig, and Amio. What do you guys think of the cast? So Morrow's super
Morrow's-
enthusiastic.
Morrow's pretty much the semi-cliche, like bombastic, like plucky hero of the day. Always the young teen, always ready to have the sense of adventure. Reed
He's like a
is-
shit version of Bart's. Or Butts, as I like to call him.
Sorry. Well, at least it's thematic. Okay, this is thematic. Yeah, it's for. So Morrow's the plucky adventurer. Reeg is the full-fledged adventurer. It actually tells the stories of his life.
Oh, Digimon.
Joe.
And Joe, loving to complain about Digimon. Don't you, Joe? You love Digimon a little bit too much there, don't you?
Yeah, he does. He really loves Digimon.
Oh, Digimon.
You just love that drop, don't you?
I do. I just so good.
You are
I
gonna
think I-
love the next one we come up with. You're gonna love it so much.
That should be on every Nude Clan episode. Yeah, so Morrow's our main guy. Over enthusiastic. Amo's got no memory, so she's pointless. And Raig's just a plot device for Chapter 5.
Right. I don't mind Rig that much. But Morrow is just the typical, I'm going to try and do an accent within the speech text boxes and fail completely. I do remember taking a few screenshots of like apostrophes in words where it should just be the words spoken out, but they're trying to give him an accent for current age, like present time. And it's, no.
Oh, I did not even really focus on that. Just focus on talking normally the entire game, but
No,
I
there's
guess in
apostrophes and things like,
Yeah,
quotations.
like the guys from the Middle Ages, like Pari. Like, I know he was.
Yeah.
He was kind of back there.
and playing Dragon Quest games. They do the accents better. Alright?
Well, they actually probably have voice. No, they don't have voice
No,
actor.
until late, but they know what they're doing with the speech patterns and writing it down into the text boxes. So,
So that's our cast for now. And so we start travelling through time. For some really vague reasons. First we go to the Middle Ages and we find out about a guy called the Death Lord who's causing trouble. And then we go to the distant past Mysidia, where we find out that all races used to live together in peace and harmony, whereas at the moment everyone fucking hates each other.
And we figure out that there's a massive time crisis that's going to happen very soon that we're told has to be prevented.
Yeah, Chrono gives us some backstory on that.
not
She tells
Lavos.
us that she-
It's not Lavos.
It is
No
Lavos.
way.
It is Lavos. They're just repeating. This is like a mashup of Final Fantasy V and Chrono Trigger. Right. So anyway, that's basically Chapter 1. your team meets up. You meet Kronos in her stupid crystal, and then she sends you off gallivanting through time to fix all of her mistakes that she made in the past.
Because she's trapped in a glass jar and she can't get out and do it herself.
She's trapped in a dirty crystal with a dirty old man. Oh, that's later. So, chapter 2, here we are. And we slowly learn about Amio's backstory. And she is apparently from the future, where humans are grown in test tubes and are raised by machines.
The Matrix.
Yep, because they are raised by machines that keep everybody apart and separate, as machines know what's best for the survival of our human race.
Yes.
Isn't that nice of them?
They're used
Yeah,
as
the robot
cattle.
overlords came by and just took over the place.
And the reason why is because we all live in a base high up in the sky, because the Eidolon Lord, Bham-a-hut, is laying waste to the world, punishing everyone for some unknown use of magic. And this is the bit where we find out that shitty little Mooti, our little fucking dragon thing that's been following us around, is actually Bham-a-hut.
Yeah,
And he'll
talk
one
about a
day
Pokemon evolution.
Yep, that's pretty much what happens. So we find out that our annoying little creature that just won't leave us alone is actually the one who destroys the world in the future.
Yeah.
So the party gathers together and vows to stop this future.
I.e. kill the fucking thing.
I know, just stab it. It will solve all the problems.
It's not his fault.
It is his fault.
If he cares about the future, he'd kill himself.
He goes nuts, he gets a massive dragon erection and destroys the world. Like, it's his own fault.
Oh, yes. This is all from one huge enraged boner. Like,
That is the story.
Well, there is no female Bahamut in the world, so
oh, man.
possibility.
The testosterone pumping would just be... Oh, God. That'd be...
So, anyway, so for... Speaking of pumping, next we go and save Journey. I don't know what the link is there in the story, but we just go off to the Middle Ages to free an elvish princess from the Death Lord.
yes.
So Journey is actually our next character who joins our party, and the artwork in this game of Journey is very seductive.
Yes. Something
Yeah.
about hats really gets it done for me.
Well, it's even like the picture for chapter 2. Her hat's fallen off there, but she's in stockings, suspenders, push-up bra, and a giant
On her
death-
back with her legs raised.
Yeah, and she's just always very, tits up, arse out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, sexual
Oh, keep the hat on. Keep the hat on.
Yeah, I mean, going on the artwork, I'd actually say she would rival Quistis for the champion of
No.
the UFS.
I don't know, man. I'm more of a Quistis lady.
I think I am too. Oh, actually, I tell you what. Who's the one from Final Fantasy 13?
Vanille, Lightning.
No, she's not a main
No.
character.
Julie.
Is it
Not a
Julie?
main-
Whatever. I don't. Dude.
Oh, Jill. Jill. No.
Jill.
Yeah, Jill. Oh, Jill from Final Fantasy 13.
And then, yeah, Chocobolina has this bizarre quality about her that makes me want to bend her from behind and pluck her chocobo feathers.
I think, would that mean you was into furries?
If that's what all furries look like, then sure. I just need duct tape on her mouth.
I assume.
Oh, the mom.
Krinatar, I'm assuming you're Googling Jill.
For like the mom.
I like Quistis, but I like my women to beat me up too, so Beatrix is up there.
Yeah, but she's one of those big stupid men in night outfits.
I can't believe I forgot about the tiny tie.
Yes.
The tiny tie. Well, anyway, enough perving on fictional game characters. So
Got to get rid of the frustration somehow from this.
I know. So we save and recruit Journey from the Death Lord, who we don't know much about at this time, but he's quite a pivotal character. And then Kronos, we go back to Kronos, as we always do, and she decides that we need to stop the Mysidia crisis from happening, which actually she and her brother caused by trying to manipulate time magic, which was the start of all the world's issues.
And the reason why she's in a glass box.
Yes, why she's been sandboxed from the whole of time. And during this process, we are hindered by Scourge, great name, who's the head of the Black Mages. And that's not the same Black Mages that Nobuo Uematsu is the band of.
Disappointing.
Very disappointing. And he's made himself immortal by using banned dark magic. So the party,
it's a pretty bad failsafe there. Hey, don't use it. It may make you become immortal for us not to stop you from illegally using it.
Right.
Exactly.
Great fallacy. God
So
damn it.
Party finally puts 2 and 2 together and realises that Scourge is actually the Death Lord. They are one and the same, because obviously
God.
Scourge is living forever now that he's achieved immortality.
Let's go with him. Absolutely insane.
So we failed to stop the crisis, and we see Kronos and his brother die, and Atmos turns up as usual and saves us from the world's destruction.
Which is the one of many, many times that it occurs.
Yes, anytime the world is about to explode, Atmos, a big, huge purple gate, again, I think there's a sexual reference there, turns up and rescues us.
It has teeth
Sucks
and
us into his
fangs.
big fur purple hole, and yeah, off we go.
He's really good at get timing for that hole to open up for us, just to pluck ourselves in and out, in and out, in and out.
I suppose it is his only job in life.
Yeah.
But it's not like you walk through it, you basically just get sucked in. Like, it just takes a hold of a good grip on you and won't let go.
He's like the perfectly timed blowjob.
So, yeah, what do you guys think of the Death Lord, a.k.a. Scourge, a.k.a. whatever the fuck the third name is later on?
Oh, Dr. Black.
Dr. Black, God.
I know, well, they've certainly stuck to a theme with that, haven't they? He seems like he should be a bad guy at this point in time. He's kind of the focus of our badness.
He is technically the bad guy at a certain point in time for this series, but at another time, he's a good guy.
But there are so many points in time in this game.
Yes.
It's all this game is.
Yeah, it's a plethora of time paradoxes. It just doesn't know what to do with itself, and just like, oh, hey, okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with multiple timelines. It's just that when you don't do fucking shit with them, when you don't do shit with them to further advance anything a proper and concise way is where I have the problem.
Yeah.
Well, basically nothing's really happened in the first 2 chapters, apart from we've gone through and seen what's been happening throughout the different timelines.
We just understand backstory, not really progressing through.
Exactly. We've seen the Mysidia crisis, which is the first bad thing that happened in the world. I believe we've seen the Day of Reckoning. Yes, we have, because that's how we found out about Muti, which is slightly in the future. We've seen the extreme future, where everything's turned to shit and dust. So we want to avoid that from happening.
They literally later on use what should be backstory to begin with as plot devices later on in each of these chapters to expand the game longer than it ever needs to be.
Exactly. And so onwards we move on to chapter 3. Guys, we're nearly a third there.
No, we're not.
No, because chapter 5 and 6 are enormous. So in chapter 3, we learn about Muti in the Day of Reckoning. Oh, there we go. How he becomes the god of destruction. Because of humans desiring for a powerful weapon. So we go to Idola, which is actually the land of the Eidolons. Who logic. Yep. But they basically abandoned us after the Mysidia incident. So we go see Leviathan, who tells us about the 4 holy beasts, who are 4 Eidolons who are still living in the Middle Ages and onwards, because they still want to live with people. They haven't cut themselves off from the world. So as you know, as any good person would, we go and find these guardians so we can beat them all up.
Yes.
Yeah, another FF plot device. Like, oh, we have a friendly neighborhood superhero. We have a friendly neighborhood god. Oh, let's just go beat the snot out of him and just get him to answer questions.
Exactly. You know, so we first meet Byaku, is it?
Byakko.
Bukaki?
Oh.
And yeah, so we meet this god who's supposed to be our friend. We beat him up, and then he mentions that he's not allowed to help us because his master says no. So we go to a different town, which is full of dwarves, and we come across a dirty old pervert whose name is Jembu, who we also beat up. And then he tells us that we've got to head to the Gigas Mountains, and we see Parry. So Parry is our next character who joins our party. What do you guys think of him?
As a powerhouse, I like him. As a structured character, I don't think he's really all that well developed.
No, he's kind of like the idiot character who's just
like the sullen little
All
I don't know
muscle.
what's going on, all muscle all the time.
yeah. all muscle. There he is.
I mean, he's a great like strong character for doing like waves of damage in the game. But
Yeah, I did use him for a bit.
But his defense is trash, so it's not worth it.
Yeah.
No, I thought he was pretty good. He wasn't one of my final party, but he was.
I did
close
like using
to
one of
being
his.
my final.
He had like an invincible skill, which allows him to put on invincibility,
For one turn.
reflect, and invigorate, which boosts attack. I
Yeah.
like using that constantly. That was fun.
Well, I don't remember any of the names of the skills, but I had quite a few of those with
I think it was invigorate.
Rig. What?
Oh, the skill name.
Yeah, the skill names off the gems that we'll explain in gameplay. Because a lot of the same gems can be equipped by multiple people. So when I realized that, I just stuck with 3 people.
My favourite bit about Powery was when he wasn't in your team, and he would jump in during a battle and ejaculate fire over people.
Yes.
Yeah, his
I posted a picture of that on Twitter. I thought that was fantastic.
Dude, and the funny thing is I took the exact same type of picture, too, in my photo collection.
I'm glad we were both thinking along the same lines. He just jumps in.
I didn't think ejaculate
raised
fire, but I
trousers.
thought I was retarded. So,
I'd literally just been having a conversation with someone on Twitter about a song called "I Ejaculate Fire,"
yes. Oh, yes.
and then I was playing the game, and like an hour
It
later,
literally burns
like,
when
oh
I
my
pee.
God. He's ejaculating fire.
Yeah, and I will say right here and right now that even though we're making fun of that, that's still the best skill that happens when your characters come in and out, and it's that disappointing. There's nobody else
they all
does
got really nice
damage.
little side little gigs. It's just Parai's the most hilarious. It's just like,
It's the only one that does damage.
no, they all do damage.
They all do huge damage. I think once if you leveled your characters up properly, Jake.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
Journey
I
has,
believe I did.
it has
During
the
the
water elemental,
And they wasn't doing jack.
Yeah,
and then Amo has the cluster bomb,
which was fantastic.
and then
The little girl does the wind one. Yeah, I thought they were all pretty good.
each
But
one.
yeah, anyway, so
It was.
this big half dwarf Pari joins our party.
We got to solve his emotional dilemma first.
Isn't that how it always works?
Oh, I thought he joined, and then we fought the giant Gigas.
No. We always got to
no.
solve his emotional dilemma first, and then they join.
Yeah. You just kind of like the guest at this point.
Yeah.
Well, so we go back to the village, and we find that a girl has been kidnapped, and we run off, and we face Shiryu, who we beat, and then we find out the girl that he's actually kidnapped wants to challenge us too, because she turns out to be the 4th member of these holy beasts. At which point they tell us that Pari's parents died. His mum died during childbirth, which was lovely, and his father was killed by the Gigant's king,
Gigantus.
Gigantus.
Well, if I had to
and-
deal with him as a child, I would have died during childbirth too.
And at this point, the Gigants start attacking everyone, and so we show up and we kill the king, and that finishes Pari's storyline.
Yeah. That's,
And that's it. We now have a giant powerhouse who ejaculates fire.
Yep.
So,
and just stands around at a single fucking word of dialogue each of these chapters past, and even in the other
He's
arc.
not the most talkative character in the entire
just
story.
goes, I agree. But so
I'm just going to
at this
stand
point-
here and look with my badass hair.
So at this point, we realise that we don't know what we're doing, so we go back to Kronos again.
That happens a lot too.
I know, because we know that she caused all of the world's problems, so let's keep going back to her. She's obviously a great judge of. She's actually great at making decisions. She tells
This is where
Johnny,
you realize that she's been making all the mistakes, and you do the exact opposite of what she tells you to do.
exactly. So at this point, she tells Johnny and Pari to mate and have lots of human, dwarf, elf babies.
Yes.
Yes.
No, she doesn't. She just tells everybody to go back to the present.
Yep.
Damn.
But there is a lot of sub. There's a
the
lot of
most
sub.
ugly and most beautiful children.
I know. There's a lot of subplot in this game where because Johnny's an elf and Pari's a dwarf, they're kind of like making up with each other to be nice to each other and sort of show that dwarves and elves can get along. It just seemed like they were going to fuck.
It's so stupidly done in one lines and does literally nothing. Like,
Yep.
I found it more annoying than anything, and not like something that'd be a funny one-liner. The only redeeming thing I'd say, how far would this be into the game? 20 hours now?
No, this is like 25, 20.
25, 30. The only thing has been the dirty old man pervert so far.
Oh,
That's been the only
there's
good, funny thing.
the Master Roshi of the entire series. It was like, I'm an old turtle. I'm going to sit here and just be all dirty and nasty. I'm just sitting here like, making sure y'all feel uncomfortable.
He might be more Vulon.
So 3 chapters in of bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much. So on to bullshit chapter 4, because the story doesn't actually start till chapter 5. So we visit fucking Bukaki
We
Heights.
go back and visit Byaku's hut.
Yep. And we see a ninja girl whose name is Maina. We battle her because, when you see a little child holding a sword, you just beat the shit out of her.
It's the logic of everything in this game.
Yeah, if you see it, just hit it. There's some pointless side plot about a presidential election going on. God knows what that was all about. You arrive at the dwarves' homeland. It looks like the dwarf population has increased from our efforts in the past when we worked with Pari. Killed all the Gigants and all that shit. The dwarves recognise Pari as the hero Pari from the past. Which was nice of him.
Well,
we
it's
find
an
out that
exact fucking replica, yeah.
I know he is Pari. It's just like, oh, you look like our hero from the past. It's just like, yeah, he is.
But does he know it? He does.
Well, they don't understand time travel, so they don't understand the complex analogies of the fact that they're the same person, so they think he's a descendant.
Yeah, but at this point, I don't think Pari understands that he's time traveling. I don't think he ever gets the fact that he's time traveling.
No, I'm sure Parai understands.
Pari, is that how it's pronounced? I'm calling him
Yeah,
Pari.
you keep missing the A, and I'm like, why do you keep calling Pari?
I'm
There's
English.
an A, another A in there.
I drop whatever I want.
Tomato.
Okay, so Pari. Anyway, we find out that human elves and dwarves are all getting on a little bit better now. But we hear that the Western nation is actually about to launch its army of robots over the nation of Ajima.
Because Mina's like a freedom fighter for the...
Well, I think she's a sellsword at this point, and she's working for the president-elect.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't. She's not. She doesn't know the president at the point in time. She's just rooting for her nation. She doesn't trust anybody.
I think we do find out that she actually is working for her though. During that scene in the cave.
The president of City Inc. or Kramer?
Oh no, I remember she was rooting for the president to win.
Yeah.
But you don't remember her actually like, I was working under you, kind of, because that would seem like better subplot. But she's not. She's just like, oh, I'm a plucky Yuffie. I'm gonna be all like sidekicky all the time. I'm gonna be like helping my nation. Yay! In reality, she's not really doing any benefit to her own nation. She's just, I'm just going to be a ninja all day and just study people all the time and not really get anything accomplished and be a complainer.
But this is the chapter of Biggs and Wedge.
Oh, yeah.
But Wedge isn't actually called Wedge.
It's Ueji.
Ueji. So Biggs is a Major Biggs, and he works for the Western Nation, and he's testing out the robots. And this is where we find out about Kramer 13, who is head of Sid Inc.
God.
He's the one who's creating the robots and the ultimate flare weapon, which is what causes the Day of Reckoning.
Yep.
So we finally have a bit of plot.
Yeah.
We stop the robots, go back to Ajima, where we find Dr. Black. We're told to go see Dr. Black, and we find out he is in fact the Death Lord, who is in fact Scourge.
Yeah.
So he's just repeating himself through time, but he just changes his name every now and then. We find out that he sold his services to Sid Inc., and he promises to stop his flare project after learning it will destroy the world. So we go back to check Lavos. The Day of Reckoning.
Yeah.
Which one is it, Jake?
I don't fucking know.
Are we playing Chrono Trigger or Dimensions 2?
We don't want to put those two in the same fucking sentence.
No, we don't.
Ever.
No, I'd rather play Chrono Trigger than this. I'd rather do that.
I would too.
Yeah, it could not only be the greatest RPG of all time, with the worst RPG of all time that I've ever played.
I know, but it's stealing the story. It's just stealing the same story. So we go to check if the Day of Reckoning still happens, and it does. So we assume that Dr. Black, who we don't really trust, has lied to us. But we go back, and he says, I didn't lie. So we go, oh, okay.
So there's somebody else on the prowl of making the flare weapon.
Exactly. And this is where we meet Ouija. Or Wedge.
The runaway soldier
Squeegee.
with plans for his nation that he's not supposed to have.
Exactly. To cut a long story short, it turns out that the president-elect is the one who's behind the new flare weapon.
Right.
And so when we confront the president, she turns into a huge chaos monster.
Yep.
Meredith.
Yep.
It's the big snake woman with lots of swords.
Yep.
You know, they appear in every Final Fantasy game. In fact, I think we missed the fact that the Lich appeared during the Mysidia Crisis.
And
it served no purpose, so no one remembered.
And then the giant octopus appeared on the bridge as you crossed the...
Oh, yes, of course, the giant octopus with its furry codpiece.
Yeah, the furry codpiece.
Yeah. It had a furry
codpiece. The
world
world needs codpieces.
But upon defeating Meredith, we actually now prevent the Day of Reckoning from happening. Yay!
For a moment.
That's the end of the game.
That it stops.
But no, we go and see Leviathan, who tells us all about the chaoses and the temporal anomalies that are happening. Temporal, sorry. And Leviathan basically just says, I don't fucking know. You've got access to the future. Go look at a library.
Yeah. So back to Amos time.
Yep. And we this is where we find the computers and the databases, and it gives us a shitty password, which spells KAIROS. But our team are too thick to put two and two together.
God, yes.
So it's like, maybe it's just KA. No, that's wrong. Maybe it's IR. Don't put them all together.
Maybe it wants my blood type.
Oh my god.
It's just, all I've put in the notes here is just dumb fucks over and over again.
It's fucking dumb.
So anyway, the Death Lord approaches, and so we type in the password Kairos. Kairos. God, my pronunciation of shit is terrible. So we type in the password Kairos, which is actually the name of Kronos' brother.
Yep.
And then the Death Lord walks up, who also lives in the future, and he points at Rag and says, "Hey, Kairos. Kairos. Dun dun dun." And we finished the chapter on a cliffhanger. Apparently, Rag is the same person.
I guess so.
Well, we're under the subcontext to believe that's the possibility, but not like to guarantee that.
Mm-hmm.
But we also didn't cover the concept of the phantom ship.
Another overarching problem.
It's a plot point that coincides to this specific spot, and we didn't cover the fact that it appears as part of the story randomly.
Yep.
You're right, without context, but it is a plot of wonder.
So basically, there's this giant ghost ship that just keeps showing up every now and then, throwing a couple of monsters your way, and then off it pops.
Yeah.
And you're always just like, that was weird. What should we do next?
Always trying to wonder why it's trying to stop you, why it's coming back, and then...
God.
Yeah, so this is the point where we now reach chapter 5, and we actually start finding out about all these weird little things that are going on in the background that don't make any sense and are very, very easily forgettable. Although this is the point where we get the side mission with Alba from Dimensions 1.
Yes, finally. These are fun.
Something fun.
Is it fun?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's funner than the game.
It's the same stuff, though. You just, 2 minutes of pointless text and then 2 minutes of watching your phone beat the crap out of someone.
But it's Alba. Comic relief and sexual tension and comedy.
Yeah.
I know, but I just didn't
And you
think it
get the
was
little
executed.
8-bit characters of whatever job class she's switching into.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
was
old
that was
school.
funny.
Like, it looks like the old black mage. It looks like the old white mage, monk, stuff like that. I really dug that part. Pretty
was
funny
great. I love
because
that.
I love Alba. So
I was looking forward to it. I was disappointed.
Eh.
I didn't feel like it had the right. I didn't feel like it had the right feel of Alba to me. Wasn't the same one that we had before.
really,
Eh.
okay.
I probably the fact that she wasn't part of the
supposed to be.
party. That's probably the reason why she didn't build up the sexual tension and the funny parts of the entire story.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. I don't feel like
She
the
just
jokes
comes
were
in for a
executed
quick
as well.
fuck and then leaves.
Yep.
Pretty much. Well, she does think the guys are about to rape her.
Yeah.
That's how the story starts. She just gets transported out.
my
of nowhere.
body. Like,
You must have
we
a-
ain't
you
doing
must have a
nothing, bitch.
You must have a job for that, Jake.
We've had plenty of options for drops all across this past half hour, so I'm sure there's some in there.
But yeah, she turns
I
up in
love
the
fingering.
forest, and there's there's the guys just standing around. They're not really doing anything. She goes, "Oh look, there's some weird guys hanging around in the forest. They're obviously going to rape me. So what shall I do? I'll go attack them." Because that's what you should always do if someone's about to rape you.
You're goddamn right.
Don't run away. Don't go for help. Just attack them. That completes the first arc of Final Fantasy Dimensions 2. which is
First
called-
arc? You mean this game isn't actually done?
Oh no!
God knows.
I have
Wow.
to think it has more to offer. There's more in this in-depth story.
Don't forget, it left us on a cliffhanger, guys.
Cliffhanger. Yeah, I definitely was on a cliff. That much is true.
I know, we had to talk you down from it.
I remember talking to you guys. Does this count as Finn? Do we have to do the second part?
It's a standalone game. We have to just finish whatever is on the game.
Yeah, we got to finish the game.
So-
Gotta see those credits, man.
Yes, we had the first arc, which was the Crystal of Time arc. So basically, back in the old days in Mysidia, where we had kings and queens, and then we had heads of white mages and black mages. We
All
had
referential humor.
all very referential. So we had Doga and Unai, who were from FF3, who were the kings of Mysidia, king and queen of Mysidia, and we have Minwu, head of the white mages, and Sorg, head of the black mages. Although Sorg got cast out and was replaced by Vivi as head of the black mages, because Sorg was playing with immortality magic, dark black magic, which he succeeded in making himself immortal. And then we have Kronos and Kairos, thank you, Krin, who were making a crystal of time, which, despite it also being banned magic, everyone decided to let them do it, which made no sense.
Is this
Apart from
not
Sorg.
the God and Lucifer discussion all over again?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
this
Sorg
what
was
this
the
guy's doing is wrong. But how can you prove it?
Yeah. And so Sorg
cover
tries
them.
to stop him from completing the crystal, at which point everything goes tits up and the crystal explodes, throwing most of the people through time, which is how you meet these people at various points in time.
Yep.
So everything was basically Kronos' fault. And then, as we find out later on, we go
Well-
back in time to start trying to fix things. Us fixing
It's-
things causes more problems, and which creates the chaoses, which we then had to fight 6 billion times before ripping Bham-a-hut's dick off, shoving it down his throat and killing him.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah? Do you think that's a fair summarization of the story?
Yeah. I mean, I would put more fault on both Kairos and Kronos, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because Kairos passed out before Kronos could finish.
Oh, yeah, well, he was a bit of a pussy, wasn't he? So, that's basically what happened. It's all their fault, and then also it's Kronos' fault for sending us back in time to try and fix things that the Chaoses then appeared.
Yeah.
She's just that woman just makes so many mistakes.
She is a walking time paradox.
Exactly.
This game is full of those.
Oh,
we've also
really?
Because her consciousness and body is trapped within the crystal of time. She was put there by Minwoo to stop her from dying during the explosion.
Mhm.
But in order to do that, Minwoo had to trap only his consciousness inside the crystal. So I kind of get the feeling that Mace Minwoo here is like a pervy guy. Trapping a young maiden in a crystal and only him being able to access her.
Lucrezia!
Oh,
That's so true. That is so true. You just see Vincent just constantly going back to visit her over and over and over and
Yeah.
Anyway, so the game treats us to a second arc.
You did my father, but you didn't do me.
I think she did everyone, didn't she?
I don't know.
If you count
Depends on how
the
much
needle
adult-
injections as being with Hojo, then I guess so, but...
Yeah, she slept with Hojo. She was injected with a female space alien giant monster asteroid to make Sephiroth.
That's how I like my pregnancies, man.
Giant female space
Injectables.
monster.
Injectables.
So yeah, we've had our first Finn with a nice confusing time loop story, and then we're treated to our second arc with this huge dragon showing up, and the Death Lord also joins our crew at this point, I think. So we're treated to the Eureka arc, Chapter 1, Voice from Afar. So we take our gay pride spaceship
Yes.
into no man's land, and there's a mysterious girl talking to Morrow in his dreams. She shows up and we go back to the ship. The girl introduces herself as Mist, Faith of the Primals. You head back to the Rift, and Mughal and Kronos tell her to find out about Eureka and its primal gods. There are elements: fire, water, wind, earth, light, darkness, and neutrality. If Eureka loses its balance, Idola will be affected as well. And we find out that there's a rebellion going on amongst the primals, which is this big dragon who fought us a moment ago, who is called the Chaos Dragon. The Kronos Dragon, sorry.
The Kronos Dragon, yeah.
Yes. And he is the one who is rebelling against the other primals.
This is...
Here, go on, Jake.
This is literally them just poking, you know what we're talking about, Kronos, and it's poking you like a fucking annoying 4-year-old.
I know. How many times can we pull the name Kronos into this game?
I
We
don't
already
know.
had a character called Kronos, and
They
now
wouldn't-
we're fighting a Kronos Dragon.
They should have named the thing the Time Dragon. That's what they should have done. They should.
Time Devour. Just call it what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been better.
Anyway, so at least these chapters are nice and short. That was chapter 1 done. So chapter 2, World of Primals. So we asked Kronos what we should do, and she says, go to the world of the Primals. Apparently, there's a multiverse.
Because that's how this story structure is set up. We're gonna go here, talk to this person. Oh, you gotta go here. Oh, let's go here. Oh, well, nothing got solved here. Let's go back to Kronos again. Or in this case, Mist. God.
So anyway, we take the gay pride ship and go to Eureka. That's where we meet Palliser. How are you guys going to pronounce that?
Placer.
Placer. I should have let you guys do the story, really. I'm fucking awful at this.
I can tell, because I thought I was the one going to be doing all this stuff. He's like, no, let me sit there and screw on it all day. And I'm just like, all right, sure, go ahead.
You're good. Pronunciation's overrated, apparently.
Yeah, it is. It's the English language. It's fine. I can butcher it all I want.
Yeah, I'll let you have some squandary in some words, but then you just come to actual people's names. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, all right.
I've always been like this with Final Fantasy games. I just see it on the screen and I just think, I'm going to call them this.
It's Tifa, not Tifia. It's Midgar, not Midjar.
Oh my god.
Bham-a-hut, right?
Yeah, Bham-a-hut.
Yeah, get all your dragon pizza needs.
Down at Bham-a-hut. Where was I anyway? So yeah, basically, I'm not going to pronounce these names. I'll just call them by what element they are. So we meet the Master of Wind, or Wind and Delight.
Yes.
And
essentially a carbuncle reimagined.
Yeah,
actually, you are, yeah.
And then we also meet
Seismiche.
Yeah, Seismiche. I didn't write down what fucking element she was. She was Earth, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's like a melted corpse imbued to stone.
Yeah, she looked like she was had a stone chair just stuck to her ass.
Yeah, that was weird.
So we find out the world cannot exist without every one of these gods. According to them, the dragon conceals itself somewhere in your world. So, as is normal, we go back to Kronos and we just spread ourselves through time.
Trying to figure out where the time dragon is.
Yes, because the time dragon turns up, kidnaps Mist, and buggers off. And so we have to try and catch the time dragon somewhere in our world to try and rescue Mist.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chapter 3, The Faith's Altar. We meet somebody in dark clothing that looks like a clone of Morrow. He then attempts to kill Morrow in a one-on-one battle, but we fend him off. And then Mist rejoins the group.
Yes.
Another prismatic god, Spirale.
Yeah.
P-God.
I was just saying, that's, the dragon kidnapped Mist. We fought some random bloke, and then Mist just reappeared.
Yeah.
So what's happening there, eh? Why was Mist with this random bloke and not with the dragon? Who knows? It's not too obvious.
Oh, there's the love triangle. No.
Oh, yeah. So that other god enrages herself and has a fight with the dragon, as well as Bastardo.
Great name.
Good old Bastardo.
That one, there's nothing you can screw up with because that's exactly how his name sounds.
Yep.
I don't know who in the English language or French or Latin or anybody else's language came up with that name, but that is a terrible name.
That's a great name. Bastardo. I'm from Europe. It's like a normal name for us.
You have kids named Bastard?
No, it's just... I didn't realise that's what you were referring to.
Yeah, right?
Come on.
I just thought you meant calling someone a bastardo.
No.
No, it's...
Why
don't you just name the child Closinger?
I was like, this is a terrible name for somebody. But it's like...
That's a great name.
They tried to humanize it by putting bastardo into make it sound like Hispanic or something.
It's quite Italian, I think.
Italian, not Spaniard.
Bastardo. Anyway, enough of my terrible accents. Bastardo the Crimson, the ruler of fire and flames. Well, I forgot that. The ruler
of the fire and the flames we carry on.
Insert extreme guitar solo here. That was terrible. We should have had the song lined up, really, shouldn't we?
We'll put it in post.
Yeah, we'll put it. Yeah, Jake can put that in post. So Bastardo turns up. and there are now four of these prismatic gods, and they all fight the Kronos dragon at once, and they injure the beast, and it runs away.
Yep.
And we now hear of Starbo, who's the one who gives out all the coffee.
Yep. The supreme galactic coffee taste of the universe.
Starbo, the ruler of the prismatic gods. Now, I think I didn't really get this bit. Is Starbo...
The Starbo is the elder god who's the ruler of all of the prismatic gods and the creator of all of land and sea.
Yeah, I kind of got that bit. It's just, is he one of these elements?
No.
No.
He's the guy who created the balance of all the elements.
Yes.
So he's not an opposite to the Kronos dragon, is he?
Nope.
No.
Because
no.
the Kronos dragon is neutrality. He doesn't have an opposite.
Right. Okay.
The opposite of him would be actual progression.
So shouldn't there be a progression god?
There should be.
Well, no one cares about progressives, so...
That's what I mean. I was kind of thinking, would that be Starbo?
Well, he doesn't... they're not really good explaining his overall essential...
They have any of his purpose.
Yeah. Like, his purpose is to talk through faith, and that's pretty much...
Oh, hang on, spoilers.
No, it's what she does. It's what she is. She's...
Yeah, no, but we haven't got to that bit yet. Sorry, guys.
Oh, well, move on. We'll move on. We'll move on for later. It's complicated. It's confusing. We'll get to it later.
So we hear about Starbo, the primal ruler. So we now move on to chapter 4, another Morrow. So the clone shows back up of Morrow, and he kind of joins our party, and we just call him by the name Fake.
Because
So
it's a
if you
fake
think
mark.
Bastardo's a bad name, imagine being called Fake your whole life.
Hey, at least it's a legitimate word, and it's not condescending.
Fake is not condescending? What?
It's not really. It just
Oh,
means you're not
God.
real.
I kind of felt like they were being slightly, harsh to him. Just called him Fake the whole time.
He didn't care.
He didn't.
No, he loved it.
He's neutrality. He doesn't care one way or the other.
Anyway, so we get this guy Fake, and he explains the exact same things with the elements, and that Odium is now controlling all of the prismatic gods. So for some reason, Odium, who's darkness, has managed to become very powerful and has taken over all the other gods. The gods fear Mist because she is the only person who can't be controlled by the darkness.
The darkness.
Because she's not
think
an
I think
actual
it's the band
elemental
darkness,
effect. Yeah, she doesn't really affect any of the elemental sway in any way, so...
Yes.
darkness
So-
doesn't do anything.
So Odium at this point manages to overpower Starbo and all of Eureka becomes under the power of darkness. So we have to go up against the prismatic gods to help the world. Then the darkness spreads to Idola. Dum. And then we move on to chapter 5, the prismatic god of light.
Yeah,
So Bartantalus from FF13 shows up.
yeah. Offension.
It's just it looks
Offension
like
the
Bartantalus.
scintillating. I don't understand why his name is called that, but
The scintillating.
it's essentially affection, but it's like affection the scintillating.
Maybe they should have put a T in there and called it affection the titillating.
Yeah, that's probably would have been more entertaining. That would have been way more entertaining.
Yeah, but I just thought it looked exactly like Bartandalus when he's like in monster form. You have to fight him.
Yeah, it does. It does look a lot like it. Just a giant fat face that has like little itty bitty teeny weeny arms. That, like, I don't know what to do.
Although it's like dumb as hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's horrid looking.
Me, God, light. Me, lightness. You, darkness. Anyway, it shows up.
Person. He just likes to shows up by blowing himself through the floor.
Oh, yeah!
Someone's blowing themselves.
Yeah.
It's the fucking Kool-Aid man. Just shows
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. That's what he is. He's Kool-Aid Man now.
No. Oh no.
The gold Kool-Aid. Oh yeah.
So the God of Light shows up, and all of the human worlds and Idola are under hostage. So we go back and we save each age by taking out each god in each age. God, another fucking battle through time with elemental monsters. And then we move on to the next chapter. So chapter 6, Supreme Starbow. We find out that Fake is really the Chrono Dragon itself. Were you guys surprised?
No.
So the prismatic gods are under Odium's control again. And the Eidolons face them again, so we can defeat Odium. Now, I've added in a nice picture of Odium here. I thought this was probably the worst looking boss I've ever seen.
He doesn't really have a form. It's just like an 8-ball with 2 flat surfaces.
Yeah, and like
that you want to shake.
Hair.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I just can't work out what it's supposed to be. It looks awful.
To me, it looks like a really bad 8-ball.
It looks like a nucleus cell. That's it. Like, and then the little eyes are like part of the cell breaking apart. I don't know.
Like it's just trying to divide itself, I guess, by those 2 spheres on the side is from osmosis or mitosis.
Yeah.
I forget which one's the separation of cells. But that's it looks weird.
Dumb, but it looks very dumb. But we beat Odium, and we move on to chapter 7, the final battle in Eureka. At which point, Lord Starbow actually turns up.
And we have fresh coffee.
we all have fresh coffee. I just thought this was even dumber. I thought that he looked even dumber than Odium.
He is weird looking, but I'm trying to figure out any other way you could incorporate every element and every facet of reality into one being, and what would it look like?
I think if they didn't have that weird double head at the top, it would have looked a bit better. I don't know what he's doing with that bottom right hand either. It looks like he's trying to cup something.
It's fisted balled up like he's gonna punch somebody from underneath. It is weird, but I understand how it looks.
No, the one closest to the screen. It's like
the right hand, not his left hand. The one where the fingers are projected outwards.
Well, it doesn't look like he's gripping his top part of the penises. I'll say that much. It does not look that. I don't get that vibe. I don't.
No, I thought like he was trying to like cup the balls.
Then you would have an open palm. I mean,
I just think we've got to the end of this game and the art department have run out of money, and you're just like looking through the drawers and finding whatever creatures they've got. That will do.
There was a budget for this game to begin with?
I'm sure there was. It just wasn't a very accurately used budget.
Yes. But yeah. Anyway, Starbow, he's now being controlled by Odium and the darkness, and he wants to become the Void. Back to FF5. The primals get taken again by the darkness. Oh god.
This is where we have that really fun fight where you fight 2 people at the same time.
No!
We do the one-on-one, so everyone fights with their elemental eidolon.
Yep.
So Pari is fire, and he fights with
Ifrit.
And so on.
Okay, I know this should be taken care of in gameplay, but I gotta discuss on this shit now. Alright. Stupid fucking idea. I know it was dumb of me, because I decided to go the entire game with only 3 characters. So when I get told I have to use the other characters later on, none of them were development. They were all...
You screwed yourself.
Yes and no. I was high enough level that I got through it. It just wasn't fun. So I had no crystals on nobody else. I wasn't... Because you don't gain experience when the other characters aren't in battle with the crystals.
They do. Oh no, the signets don't.
They all get experience, but your summon spheres don't get extra bonus points if you're not aspected to brand spanking new ones on.
Right.
Yeah.
So they literally had like no healing spells, nothing. They were like level 80 with nothing on them.
Yeah, but the signets buff all your stats, don't they?
Yeah. So you worried about levels? You didn't worry about going to like get all the extra signets from the merchant or from the little house next to the Battle Tower?
I got them all. I just never had the other characters in battle learn from the signets.
Oh,
There's
damn.
no goddamn point. There should not be, hey, let's make sure every character is utilized in every aspect of this game.
I tried. I
So-
spent like an additional 10 hours. That's why my time is like 10 hours different from everybody else's. 'Cause I just focused entirely on getting the signets, not the level.
Our times are quite different. All three of us.
Yeah.
Mine are for, it shouldn't really be that high. It should be in the 60-70 range, but
And I feel like I may have
We're
the
talking-
speedrun record for this game.
You probably do. You like
Dude,
30 hours is a
doesn't-
pretty like you just straight up went go. Don't deviate. Just go.
yeah. So I hated this part. I just hated it because it was,
It puts you in your place of realizing that you didn't use all the aspects the game had to offer.
well, not when you don't want to play any of the other fucking characters.
I give it to you. All the other characters are terrible to play with. They're not really that fun. But
No, they were alright. I switched around my characters quite a lot. Mainly, I was just trying to get all the signets that I had just to maximum level.
I was
So,
just trying to find a way to give use to Deathlord because when he gave it to me, he was like super crippled. Like he had nothing, no skills.
I did not use him at all until this fight, but he absolutely blitzed whoever I had to fight against. Oh no, because Morrow was in the same fight.
Yeah.
That was the only good bit. Once you had to fight with the Death Lord, Morrow was there as well. So Morrow was like super OP for me.
Oh yeah. Mara was always a super OP. Like his skill of Earth Flare and
But
Odin's Flare.
this is all going to be very confusing as we haven't discussed any point of gameplay yet. And we're right at the end of the story.
Yeah.
We'll get
You guys
back
ready
to
for
it. Yeah.
We'll
You
get back
guys
to
ready for the final slog?
Fine.
Sorry. I'm just thinking it may be confusing to people who don't know about, signets and all that sort of stuff because we haven't really explained.
Right.
But, so the art department run out of money. Game over.
Wait. Hold on.
Yeah, so Starbow, who's being completely controlled by Odium, wants to become the Void. Fight everyone again in a one-on-one fights. And then
We beach each
Sorry.
god.
we beat each god.
Yeah, bish.
No, you specifically spelled beach. B-E-A-C-H. That's what you spelled there.
No, I
Take
haven't.
a note. This is on the podcast. He put
What?
beat.
That clearly says beat.
No. Don't try and cover this up, man.
Hey, I wrote it in a hurry.
We left them astray on a body of water surrounding sand. It works.
Right, we beat up each god, and then we fight Starbow, and we beat the living darkness out of him, as you do, and we win, and that is our final fight in the game.
Yep.
And it was a piece of piss. Took me 2 seconds. I killed him in like 3 rounds.
I spent more time on Odium than I did on Starbow.
Oh no, I spent even less time on Odium. I did him in 1 round.
Yep.
By this point, I was just so powerful. It was ridiculous. So we now.
I may or may not have been one-hitting everything at this point.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to hit everything throughout the game. Anyway,
You just stated 3 rounds, so that's why I was clarifying.
no, I mean all the normal enemies. The bosses usually took like 1 or 2 rounds, but everything else was one shot. It would die. Until I started using, Viagra and stuff, and it was like one-shotting entire screens of enemies. Anyway, so we now get into chapter 8, Hope for Tomorrow. Which is our big epilogue chapter. So we find out that Mist is actually Lord Starbow's spirit. Odium
Dumb.
had started to eat Starbow's spirit, so she.
No
could,
one eats at Starbows.
And the
They
croissants
do
are
make
right.
good lemon cakes. They do make good lemon cakes.
They do, and blueberry muffins.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mist, she took what remained of her mind and Starbow took what remained of her mind and transferred it into Mist. So Mist then is able to restore Starbow's body, and Starbow's body reforms, and then he remakes Odium because all elements must be in balance.
Yep. And we come to realize Odium is actually the size and devastating power it is because Kronos decided to let us take a giant journey to save the world and put the balance of a mass amount of light power in the universe.
Yes, exactly. Because Odin, who happens to be standing around at this point in the game, is the only one with any sense and asks Starbow, why did all this happen? And Starbow basically says, you're all cunts, this is all your fault. Because we tried to fix things, we created too much light, and then so darkness grew out of control. But then Rag pops up, and he just says, "Oh, just ignore it." He actually says there are too many questions and answers in the universe, and everyone goes, "Oh, yeah, okay, fuck it."
God.
So we're about to get explanations, and then that happens, and then I assume this was Jake's favourite bit of the game. A massive vagina opens up in the sky.
Yeah, it does look like a vagina.
There's no other words for it.
It's a dark, swirly purple thing that has lips, and it opens as a seal, and it opens up very vertically for some, well, horizontally, like they're laying down somehow. And
I must consume myself to the void.
Yes, and this huge.
If it has a vagina, I will fuck it.
Well,
Wow.
This thing eats fake and mist. And then it closes up, and that's it. It just suddenly takes two of these main characters away.
It never fully closes up. Let's get this clear.
It does. It closes up, takes fake and mist away, and then Morrow's convinced they're okay, but no one has any way of finding them, so everyone just gets on with their lives. So all of our main cast sort of go back to their times and have freeways and stuff.
Yep.
And then what we find out is that mist and fake are trapped in an unspecified location. They have no food, no water, and no concept of time, and they are currently existing in an endless void. So what would you do in that situation?
Squat down and then just sleep.
That's what was going on.
That was what was going on. Miss gets pregnant. This actually happens. She gets pregnant. Worried for their
Supersede.
But worried for their child's future, they summon every bit of power they have and open up another space-time vagina.
To give birth?
Yep. They send their kid through time and space where it lands in a forest at Navos.
Great parenting. Great fucking parenting.
Yep.
Hey, what else are you supposed to do? You have a kid, you want the kid to be trapped in eternity knowing it needs food?
Don't have the kid.
Yes. I shouldn't have.
You're right. That thought process should have ruined that. But now that that's there, what do you do with it now?
Apparently their idea is to have someone else raise it.
Especially as technically having the kid is what causes them to get trapped in the void in the first place.
Bingo! There's the time paradox. Thank you.
The time paradox. Because good old Gad finds the child, picks it up, names the child Tomorrow.
God.
The hope you will bring, or he just calls him Morrow for short, which is our main character. Morrow causes the
we
darkness.
close the loop entirely.
Yes, Morrow goes out into the world. He creates too much light, which makes darkness grow out of control, which in the end makes a huge space-time vagina open up and eat fake and mist. So having the child was the reason they got stuck in the void.
Yep.
So, given that this is a massive time loop, I assume now that the Warriors of Light from Final Fantasy 1 are going to turn up and kill everyone.
I don't know.
That's their job, isn't it? Stop time loops?
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
chaos goes out of control again, and they have to stop his time loops to doing over and over and over again. Yes.
So the moral of the story is contraceptives, people.
Yes. If you're stuck in a void...
Otherwise, you're all gonna get fucked.
So the main thing about the story was that no one seemed to care that everything was Kronos' fault.
Yeah, I don't think they...
And I'm sure they discussed at the beginning that they were supposed to free her from the time crystal.
They tried to, and they just gave up.
I swear it was just like one little bit in one chapter. They're like, hey, let's see what... No, not gonna happen.
I know, but that seemed like, at the very beginning, that seemed like the whole point of the game.
That could have been partially some of the idea during, development. And as time went on, yeah.
Yeah, he always dies and has to save the world from the afterlife.
Every time.
Every time. Well, twice now.
Yeah, it's far from every time.
So that's it with the story.
That's fine. Thank God. We're done with the story. We don't ever have to talk about it ever again.
It was long enough. Yeah, guys like the story?
No.
Not really.
Yeah, it was alright. It was the best part of the game. It was
Yeah.
mildly entertaining. As long as you flew through it at 100 miles an hour, it was just so slow.
Oh yeah, for me and Jake have spending more and more time like grinding out all those extra little bits. It made the story feel like 3 times as long.
Yeah, I got really frustrated going through bit by bit by bit, a little bit of dialogue.
Because it's
little bit of
ever
dialogue.
winding. Like, it's so unfucking necessary with its dialogue.
Yeah, it
Like,
doubles down on like 15 different fights for unknown purposes just to progress the story to have extra length and meat somewhere
Yeah.
that it doesn't actually need.
Not only that, in the way that we had described some of the chapters, we literally get told by Mist what the fuck is going on, and then you go talk to Fake, aka the Chronos Dragon, and he explains the same goddamn thing with the Iridium. Again. Odium. And again, the same disposition gets told multiple times, whatever the disposition is. And you're doing this in between battles when you're moving back and forth to each area. Oh, let's go here. Let's go back here. Let's go here. Let's go back here. With no fucking point except for to extend the stupid story.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just too much side questing.
Yeah, it is.
But the side questings are just very boring because all you do is you go.
The
to
side
battle.
questing is the game.
The side questing is you collecting all the signets for all the little abilities.
That
all
too is.
Okay,
That's the only reason they made you do it.
let's talk gameplay, guys, because then we can really rip this game apart. You ready?
Oh.
You ready for the pain? You thought the story was bad.
Oh my god.
So the battle system. So, battle encounters are presented in rounds that start once the player enters a battle zone on the world map. Once a player enters a zone, they have to fight a barrage of enemies until they reach the end.
Range between 3 fights, 5 fights, and 8 fights.
Yep, so it's the same basic concept that Brave Exvius has and All the Bravest.
Yes. All the bravest. Not all the bravest. All the bravest is just, smack your hand against the screen until it dies.
I know, but wasn't it rounds? That's what I'm referring to as the rounds.
No, I don't think so. But you're right about Brave Exvius.
I'm trying to remember all the bravest in the sense, and I can't. I just put like a dark spot there. It's like, no.
No, I spent too much money. I'm going to ignore it.
That's pretty much how it is, yeah. I spent too much money on that now.
Anyway, we agreed. No more talk about ATB on this game.
Right.
The show anymore.
Mm-hmm.
$12, Krin.
It's $27.
Ah.
So, Dimensions 2 uses a turn-based battle system similar to the turn-based system used in Final Fantasy X. Only a maximum of 3 party members can fight in a battle, with the 4th character being Muti.
It used to be switchable, but they decided to just lock in Moody, who was not very valuable to the overall battle.
Ooh, I disagree there, but I'll talk to that in a minute. Muti will never take damage from the enemies since he cannot be targeted. Just skipped a matter bit. So in addition, each character has 3 consumption meters that can be filled in battle. Now these basically power up your signets, which are summonable monsters. So this is very much like FF6, where you can equip your signet, you power it up. Once you've powered it, you learn the ability that comes with that signet, except all the signets have 3 levels. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of describing it. It's very similar to the FF6 system, except once it's maxed out, you can then evolve it using gems, and then go get it up to the next level.
Yep.
The signets, which you sort of collect as you go along through the game, they actually buff your character as well. So different signets give you different buffs, such as strength, agility, magic power, MP. So playing around with the signets is quite helpful to make your team bigger and more powerful as you go through the game. When you summon a signet during the actual battle, it doesn't waste one of your turns either.
No, it doesn't.
It summons a signet, the little thing happens. So if you get a particularly powerful one, like Maid Alexander at one point, which was really good, sort of it would hit enemies for 6,000, and then it would also give you three rounds of invincibility.
Yes, that's what he would offer, but some enemies would attack multiple barrages, or you would be unable to hit an enemy for invincibility. Like there's certain section of enemies in the tower that are invulnerable for 5 turns. And you have to waste all your turns just to get the barriers to go away.
But yeah, so you summon your monster, it would summon, and then you'd have your normal attack. During the battle, there are 2 different icons in the top corner of the game, allowing players to increase the game speed or enter the auto battle mode.
Yes.
So, all right, this is the part that confuses the crap out of me for the auto battle. Like, you guys have to explain how you guys use auto battle, because for me, as soon as I pressed it, all the enemies died, and then I had to reintegrate with the game again, and I had to move on to the next game, and then click auto battle. Auto battle was 1 second's worth of auto battle.
No,
I don't have to press anything.
Must be something weird going on with your phone, because I basically turned the speed up, turned on auto battle, and that was it.
Bingo.
Yeah,
and then you go through
everybody
each.
died in like 1 second. Like I literally put the phone down, and then they're all dead.
No, it was the opposite for me. I put the phone down, and it would kill everything else.
Yeah, it would automatically go through all the barrages for me until the battle was done, and then I could go back to the menu.
But for me, from the way my levels were set up, that I was so insanely powerful that literally as soon as I pressed auto battle and kicked up the speed, and I put the phone down and looked away to have a conversation with somebody, the battle was already over. It's done, and that's it.
Yeah,
it
was about that quick.
Like auto battle is almost as fast as me just pressing the buttons. Based on my level.
I'm sure that the system would always be just a fraction faster than you, but...
Well, yeah, but it's the same. It's almost negligible by a few seconds. It's not what I would assume auto battle be. I would assume auto battle be just do the whole thing for me. Just roll with it. Do like a Brave Exvius. You just let the thing roll and roll and roll and roll and roll and roll. I don't have to touch it no more.
Right.
But it does it.
So you can really tell this game's a precursor to Brave Exvius. It's tapping your way from location to location in like the FF Tactics style, and then tapping from battle to battle.
And it's little circles.
Yep.
Same with Mobius.
Yep. The menu system, while straightforward, is very unresponsive. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I had problems. It was
this experience, but I can touch one of the menu icons and it highlights, but nothing seemed to happen. And you just have to press it over and over and over again.
Sometimes I had fat fingers where I feel like it would slip and it wouldn't really get like a full designated touch. So I don't know if it was me or it was the menu system.
Well, it seemed to get worse for me if I was outside and it was cold. But I've never had that with any other game before, where like, the screen gets cold and therefore it can't quite be responsive to me. It was so strange. But it definitely seemed like bad coding to me.
I was playing mine on the boat. It was always like warm and sunny outside, and I was in the room most of the time, so it's like 70 to 80 degrees all the time.
Yeah, Jake, I feel like we need a drop of "I'm on a boat, motherfucker" every time he says that.
Yeah.
With my flippy flops.
I'm on a boat, because I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat, he's on a boat.
You guys got it. There you go. Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes.
So we're all on a boat. No. So basically the menu is just crap. It didn't work. And
it took me a while to realize. If you guys have realized that the music or the sound of the background music was much higher than everything else, so did you notice it takes like 2 or 3 menu screens to find the settings and down into the setup and then down into the menu of the volume controls?
Yes, because I turned everything right down so that I could listen to audiobooks while playing the game.
Yeah,
Well, I have my own foolproof solution. I turned my own personal volume down the first 5 hours and never turned it up again. I didn't even need to go find this hidden menu. I just turned my phone's volume all the way down to vibrate. So
yeah, but I listen to, because like I say, I listen to audiobooks and stuff while I'm on the train, and so I want to play the game while listening to stuff on my phone. And no matter what, the music would always be playing, and the little sound effects would always be going.
Yeah, I'll try and listen to like one of the mUFF episodes or like a Nude Clan episode while I'm playing a video game, just so I can.
Or episodes of super sexy swinging fan fiction. Am I right, Krin?
No.
I thought you was going to plug Puff Puff.
No.
Well, we seem to have an episode every 2 months, so I'm not as nearly inclined. Everything seems to get delays here.
Sadly, I have to catch up on your guys' show. I've only seen the first 2.
Sacrilege.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, everybody's got to play the game, so I'm not. It ain't nothing.
So the game's basically a mix of really bland menus and auto battling. As long as you do the sub-quests in the game, there is no difficulty at all. It's just a long story grind. So you start a battle, wait, read a minute of dialogue, go to the next battle, and then you rinse and repeat for about 70 hours.
Pretty much. There's probably maybe like 1 or 2
that's
battles
like the basics
that
of the
last
basics.
longer than 5 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't even think that. It's just like, even the end boss, it was like took 3 rounds, so that was less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
To polish him off. It was just too easy.
Polish him off, eh?
Yeah.
Let's not forget that ending boss. What do you look like? Come on, gentlemen.
He had 2 heads.
Yeah. I just needed my high quality Starbucks coffee just to beat Starbucks. Oh.
So the summons in this game, they play a pivotal role.
They're pretty much the entire chunk of the game, is pretty much as far as I can say. Without them using them, then what's the point of having them? But
exactly,
They're
they
as
are
essential
the gameplay,
as GFs are. Yeah.
Yeah, so they play a pivotal role in your character's stats and abilities. Pivotal? Abilities can only be used when equipped with a certain signet. So once the signet gets enough AP and it maxes out its current level, you can use gems and you can upgrade it. But also once you've maxed out the AP, you learn that ability permanently.
Yep, just like an FF9 where you have something junctioned to you after you fully learned its skill stat, it's latched to your body.
I will say again, just like GFs.
Yeah, except with these ones, once you've maxed them out, you get the opportunity to use a gem, and you get 3 levels of these, to upgrade it to the next level. So then you get like Fire Blast 2. And you can max it out again and learn it, and then finally get the 3rd evolution of that.
Fire Agaja.
Yeah, but the stats of the summons also go up, which then also increases your player stats.
Did any of you guys have any difficulty trying to level up dark summons? It was kind of hard for me to find dark crystals to level them up.
I swear I was buying them.
Yeah, you could buy them from the Moogle.
Well, I did, but then there's just not enough of them.
I don't know. I seemed okay with it. I mean, I didn't go signet hunting in the end for everything.
Yeah, I didn't. I got them, but go ahead, Bill.
What I found was I had loads of clear gems, and I didn't seem to have anything that used them.
Right. I had like a bajillion of those, but like no dark gems. Like when I had the Dark Lord and I had to want to level them up when he got to a higher tier, so I'm like, dude, where did all the dark gems go?
I know. So what signets used the clear gems? There didn't seem to be any.
There was a Shinryu piece. There was a piece for Amo. Each
no, that was white, wasn't it?
No, she does have white, but each character has at least 2 signets that have a clear gem. So there's a fixed amount that you needed to get anyways, just to get each of the signets leveled up max. I think most of them are breath attacks because they're not designated as elementals. They're just like widespread.
Yeah, breath seemed to indicate hitting all of the enemies.
Yeah.
So you'd have Fire Blast, which would hit one enemy, then you had Fire Breath, which hit all the enemies.
God, stupid.
They should have just stuck with Fire and Firaga and Fyra, and just like we could have just split between 2 of them and
the Fiagra Breath was amazing. That absolutely plowed through the game once I got that.
I waited till I got Earth Breath or Earth Flare. Once I got those, it just insta-killed because it's like an 8-strike attack on everybody. It's just decimating the entire group. that was pretty much when it started to get higher level signets. But again, I didn't make it all the way to level 99 getting those signets, so.
But someone did.
I don't know if I got all the signets. I just did all the side content that I could tell for, so I guess I did by default.
You were the completionist on this game.
You probably unlocked them all, but you just didn't power them all up to.
Oh hell to the no! No! And
that's basically it for gameplay.
Yep.
Isn't really? I don't know if you guys have got much else to say on it.
It's kind of simple. It's not really all that complicated. You just get in, press a button, turn on auto battle, turn on up the speed, and then just click.
Do you know what I have just realised, Krin?
What?
You know how you said the auto battle would stop?
Well, it felt like it was pointless because the auto battle would just play for the battle, but because the way it's so easy and so like dumbed down in difficulty and the length of the battle, that the battle lasted literally for me less than 5 seconds. So I had to go back into the game and then continue pressing the button. Like I don't want to.
I was thinking occasionally when you got to a boss fight, it would actually turn off the auto battle automatically.
It does.
And then really annoyingly, you have to push it on again.
Yeah. You have to turn it on again. Yes, it does do that.
No, I wanted to die.
But I'm frustrated with this kind of auto play. Most auto battles, when I expect a game, I expect the battle to last maybe 2 minutes, at most. So the auto battle would be more proficient. But the way this game is designed and how easy it is, auto battle seems almost pointless because it's over in a second. It's just only speeding you along by as fast as it takes to kill everybody. But if all your first moves are already preset and you have them on, they're insta-killed. My first character kills everybody. Like what's the point of that?
Perfect. That's what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Because then it meant the game was over sooner.
Right. True. I do mind. It does. This game is hella long, but like I could have done the same thing without it. I don't know any other way to make auto battle more integrated where it actually does more. Like if you have auto battle set in the menu where you just click a certain section of story and it just runs the battles for you. You don't even have to even go into the combat. It just does it for you. That would make it faster. Just like don't even sequence the battle. Just do it.
It just comes up and says win, lose.
Right, like that would have been better. That's just like that would have been faster. But
yeah, it should be entirely done in one day. This game just
it's unnecessarily long in story content, but like sadly lacking in battle time length.
Cool.
Everything was a flashy move.
You guys ready to move on to music?
Yes.
So, I don't know if Jake, do you want to play that link that I've got in there? So, the music. And the soundtrack for this game was actually composed by Noshi Mitsuha. The main theme is Timeless Tomorrow, which is performed by Leah.
Yep.
Am I saying that right? Thank God. Noshi's first job for Square was creating the music for a Nude Clan classic, Parasite Eve 2, which the guys loved, and they've got a really good review on it, which they highly rate this game.
Oh, they love it to shreds. They love it so hard. They're just like rocking out to it every day.
And this guy, Noshi, is also the main composer for Final Fantasy XI. And he composed a lot of the music for Final Fantasy XI, as well as Final Fantasy The Four Heroes of Light, Final Fantasy Dimensions, the original, Final Fantasy XIV, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. So he's got some Final Fantasy backlog under him. And he also most recently did the music for episode Prompto in Final Fantasy 15.
Ain't nobody played that.
I'm not there yet. I'm waiting for them to totally finish the whole game, and then I'll touch it again.
So when you're 65, yeah?
Probably.
So Noshi also, on a side note, he originally worked for Capcom in the late 90s and helped create soundtracks for Street Fighter Alpha, Resident Evil 2, and Rocket and Forte.
Rockman and Forte?
Rockman and Forte, which I've never heard of.
Neither have I. Oh,
Dude,
Mega Man.
it's Mega Man and bass.
Wow.
Bass Fort. Come on, guys.
So I really like the music in the Rift, which had a ticking time clock, which is the one we were playing a moment ago. I don't know, can you continue playing that, Jake? Maybe just a bit quieter. I just thought this was like a really nice little piece of music.
This unique soundtrack was actually pretty good. I kind of like listening to it.
Definitely. The overall soundtrack of this game was very good, I thought.
Yes.
Including that. And then we also, I thought that music was pretty good. The battle music was awful. That was like it was like a bad 90s techno metal remix. It got annoying really, really quickly. But the boss music was really good.
Let's hear a little bit of it right now. A little bit of rock in there, a little bit of stream in there.
Basic guitar riffs. Boring.
But that has a very good Final Fantasy feel to it.
It does.
It really reminded me of like 5 and 7 sort of music, but overall the tone of the game really sort of had the same feel of Final Fantasy 5. They really sort of hammered down that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture of a couple of the classic games in the story content and a couple mixtures of music content between 5, 6, and 2. There's a couple like floaty music things from like 3, but...
Yeah, which is exactly what they wanted from development. They said they wanted it to be like an old school game. And so I think, at least with the music, was one of the good things they did. Now, one of the bad things they did for me was the design.
Oh my god.
So the design animation of the sprites was like living ragdolls.
Oh yeah.
Where like their arms would just move forward and flap around, and I didn't
they're all sack of potatoes. Like literally all attacks, all knockouts, all fallovers. They're all just like a puppet that they're on strings. You just cut all the strings, they just fall down.
Because the artwork in the game's quite cool, and the pre-rendered backgrounds of all the locations that you go to are well done.
Yeah,
it's just the sprites are just crap, and it kind of ruined the game for me.
Yeah.
Ruined the game? What game?
Like even the concept of some of the deaths in the game felt like flat because the way the physics of the dolls just like fell over, because they would get up not by actually putting their hand on the ground, they would get up by like somehow locking their kneecaps and then standing up like a zombie.
Yeah, just sort of like floating to the to
like,
upright.
Holy crap!
It's like, oh my god, he's alive! But yeah, just the animation on the characters really let me down on this one. Otherwise, it was quite a good looking game.
I think they would have been better off with just like locked positions, even for like a little bit. Like they didn't have to move the characters around all that much. Just like put like old FF style, where you have like the picture of the person's face and then the chat of whatever they're doing, rather than like moving like the ragdoll physics of them. I get what they were trying to do. It's just weird. It's
Those
not very...
arms are way too long for their bodies.
Yeah, the proportions are a little bit off. Because they all seem like they have the same length of arms, same length of toes, even though they're all different, like, height status.
Right.
Yeah. Awful.
I don't have anything clever to say about design. I just loathe it.
Yeah, I literally couldn't come up with much to put in the notes series.
Hey, this game probably would have even just been a little bit more interestingly fun if you actually did give them all strings and have a narrator tell the story.
That would work.
Somebody actually put them on strings and puppet style this thing, then this would be kind of like a mixture of like Paper Mario with FF, like it kind of real.
So instead of strings, how about the popsicle sticks? That would work too. Just place the cutout on top of a popsicle stick and walking along the plains and shit.
Yeah.
God, is it horrid? I just...
No worries. So, we all agree that we don't like design.
No, we're not. We're not really all that happy with
So,
it.
do we like the legacy of the game?
What legacy?
I don't know about you.
Now, I couldn't find stats for iOS, which obviously myself and Krin played it on. So we're taking up at least a third of sales here. On the Android Google Play Store, it only has just over 1,000 plus downloads.
That many?
And it's been out for over a year, and it has got the Final Fantasy in the title.
Wait, is that American downloads or is that full downloads?
As far as I could see, that was overall.
Wow. I'm not surprised. I'm honestly not surprised. I'm not.
So I think this game's bombed.
Nope. There was no budget. Anything is a profit. There was no budget.
I just think I think obviously people saw the game when it first came out. There was some most of like the really like short IGN reviews were really positive. It's like, yeah, this game's quite fun.
Like,
and so I imagine quite a lot of people got mugged off by that and went and bought the game. You know, and obviously Wii U got mugged off and went and bought the game.
IGN does not make good reviews on games.
No, I think this game should die and never be played again.
Well,
I hope it goes the way of Justice Monsters 5.
I wish Justice Monsters was a pinball machine, literally in real life, not on a phone. If it was a pinball machine, I would happily buy it. But other than that, that's it.
I hate to point out the fact that it does still exist in Final Fantasy 15.
Yes, it does, as a legitimate pinball machine.
And you get a trophy for playing it.
Right. But
plug.
It's a
plug
game,
within a plug.
Yeah, since we can't really get to it this year, since they've somehow taken it off the market, and the only way we're going to probably review this is if we all play it on the 15 game platform, but it'd be a different mechanic style, so it wouldn't really be true to its name of how you play it.
Yeah, so we're dropping Justice Monsters 5 from the list, basically. That's our announcement.
All right.
Might not be the only one.
I mean, do you guys feel like you got your money's worth out of this?
Out of this game, I feel like I paid too much.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting my money back at all. I think a $5 would have been a fair price.
Yeah, $5, maybe $8 tops. That'd have been fine.
Nope.
$15 is too much. $15 is way too much for this game.
Should have been free.
Okay, guys, I don't know if you guys heard or not, but we actually have a couple questions for Final Fantasy Dimensions 2. Have you guys got the chance to read any of them?
I have not.
I did have a brief read, but I thought I'd save them for the episode.
Oh, cool. Well, I brought them up on my phone right here, and I wanted to get a chance to see what your guys' perspectives for the questions were. This one comes from Disa Oakland.
Oh, should we do Fun to Mop first? Only because he was... we'll do Fun to Mop's question first.
Oh.
Only because he was the first person to ever ask mUFF a question.
Ooh,
so I feel it's a
due process. I get that. Due process. All right.
Brand loyalty.
Yeah, we'll get to you soon, Disa.
We'll do fun first. Okay.
Kiss,
all right. This question comes from Fun to Mop. Hey guys, do you think they'll ever release either Final Fantasy Dimensions games on a console or portable game player? I would love to play them, but to sink my teeth into a 50-hour game... it's not 50 hours, it's longer than that. On my mobile seems a bit much. You can answer during my review show. During your review show, if you want.
The answer is no.
No, they're not. There's not enough of a demand for just the mobile gameplay at all, so probably not. Like, I don't see this thing going to console. If it did... I think it would probably only slightly change its appeal, but I don't think they're going to do it.
I think the first Dimensions game would have worked well on the PSP, because that's when they released after the Final Fantasy IV Complete.
Yeah.
And the combat system for it would be totally much better on a PSP, just being able to play it that way.
Yes,
Because that's like a true classic game. Like, I would love to play the thing on the PSP.
Yeah. So the first Final Fantasy Dimensions would have been good, but I can't see them backtracking, and I can't see them upgrading it for the Vita either.
Definitely not. They could port it, Square. It could be ported in the future just to get a little bit of cash.
If sales drop just a little bit, they'll probably just throw it to PSP or put it on the PlayStation Store for people.
Yep. And then, it's got trophies. Oh God, yes. And then it sells 100,000 copies on the store.
Just to get the trophies out of it, because PlayStation's doing that promo where you get like a bunch of credit if you get a lot of silver gold trophies.
Yes, I've been on that.
But to truly get to that, I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think so. But would I be happy to see a Dimensions Dimensions 1 on a console? Well, yeah, I would appreciate that on a console. Dimensions 2, no. It's not going to change. The combat has to literally change entirely for you to want to do that.
Yeah, if they made Dimensions 2 with the same gameplay as Dimensions 1, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't be happy. That is the shittiest story I've come across in a long time.
It's not absolute shitty. It's not the shittiest story. I'm sure there's shittier stories. It makes a point. It comes up. It closes.
Oh, 15. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yes, that.
The story in 15 was better, but it was...
Guys, they're not personalities.
So
the little traits they have, those are not personalities. Those are hobbies.
Does it have a beginning, middle, and end, and does it make sense?
No.
Yes. Really? It doesn't make sense to you at all?
No, it doesn't have a beginning, middle, or end.
It doesn't have beginning, middle, or end. And in the context of, it makes sense of what they told you, but to understand any context of it, you are asking yourself more questions than answers. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Blank, blank, and blank happened because all spoilers for everybody. But then you ask yourself 22 questions and be like, oh, what about the fucking eye? What about him leaving? What about his entire fucking past?
Yep.
If you understand what I'm without spoilers.
More than one character.
It doesn't.
As well.
That is not a backstory in a game. Like,
see,
I could argue the same thing about Cecil from Final Fantasy IV.
And I can argue the same
point.
thing about FF13. Like, how does FF13 make sense?
It doesn't. That's why it's not ranked high for me either. I won't defend it, but 13 is funner to play than 15.
I'm going to do that on the side. Like, I'm going to sit there and spend my time to understand the story of 13. Like, literally 3 games to explain the story to me. 3 games. And I have to go online to learn more stuff. No thanks. Destiny already did that to me.
The story in all 3 games was different, though.
Yeah. So it makes even less sense.
Yeah. But I did like 13 too. I thought that was probably one of the best Final Fantasy
because it takes the trigger formula. So no, and that's not a complaint of mine, not at all.
Yeah, no, I loved 13 too.
Yep.
I have to go back and even think about playing it to see if it's good. But let's get to Deesa's question.
Yes, Deesa.
Deesa really should probably get some due for a little bit diverted their question further on. All right, guys.
Yeah, so thank you for your question, Phantom.
Thank you very much. All right, guys.
Wishful thinking.
All right, from DC.
Wishful? Sorry.
Hey guys, did the different style itself compared to Dimensions 1 throw you off, or were you able to play it as its own thing? I think this game started as a free-to-play or something, and it seems like something totally different. Oh yeah, it's way different than what it was in the beginning, and I think they made a massive, huge change to it. I don't think it's made any better. But yeah, I would have much preferred a Dimensions 1 playstyle than what it is. But you can play it by itself. You're not going to lose any sleep over the different context of playing 1 into 2.
Right.
Because there's no story connection. It's just slapping a title on it. It's really all they did.
Yeah.
But it was so much different from number 1. It's just ridiculous.
but just overall, since it confused me, yeah, because it's too simplified. It has no concept of a gameplay. It's just tap 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 tap.
No concept, no difficulty.
Nope, not at all.
Nothing.
So
it's a nice. D2 is a nice looking game. if you don't look at the sprites.
And if you imagine everybody as literally a puppet and put strings on them, then yeah, it makes sense. But there's no strings, so.
But at the same time, although I don't think it's worth the $15 that we paid for it.
No, it's not.
I'm also glad it's not the free-to-play game, because I think the difficulty on the free-to-play game would have been horrendous in order to force you into the microtransactions, which was kind of one of the problems with Brave Exvius, because as much as I liked the game, you had to invest a lot of time grinding in order to not pay any money for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So long story short, it's sequel baiting. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to call it Legends because,
You already did it.
Game Boy game called Legends.
Yeah, they called it Legends somewhere else, and they sent us Dimensions. So.
What about that full title that we've already listed off? The Time and Dimension, and then the Chronos. Those subtitles.
Wow.
That's what they should have just
Only
called
because
it.
it's just a completely different game. So, we've got our ridiculously long title. It is just trying to make people, people who like Dimensions 1, it's trying to convince them to buy Dimensions 2, but it's just not a similar game in any sort of way.
No.
At least Final Fantasy 2 had fairly similar mechanics to number 1.
Right.
Even though they changed it up a bit, but there's just nothing in here which is like Dimensions 1.
No.
First of all, you could move your character in Dimensions 1.
Yeah. So it's more like a regular FF from the old days, which I appreciated. If you're going to spend $15 on any game on a mobile phone, I would rather have spent it on Dimensions 1. Dimensions 2, too much money. Too much.
Yeah, definitely.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, thank you for your questions.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
First question segment. So, if you've got questions for our next game, King's Night, let us know.
Please respond with hashtag MUFFQ.
Let us know what you think about the great service and development of this game.
Hey, it's great. The service is great if you're in the UK.
Well, I think we've all seen our lifetime share of this game, and I think all I'm happy for is probably listening to the music out of it, and that's it.
Yeah, I did. The music was nice. Some of the backgrounds were pretty cool. Other than that, I mildly enjoyed the story. It got going after Chapter 5, but it was way too late in the game for me to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's not one I'd probably suggest playing.
So our personal thoughts for like the last 5 minutes, your overall thought of the game, do you feel like it was acceptable for a game?
No.
It may be bad, but it was acceptable for a game. Do you feel
It
like
exists.
So it exists? Okay.
It exists, and if you have any plans to play every Final Fantasy game, then sorry, you're going to have to play it. And you're going to have to get through those first 4 chapters of grinding before it gets even mildly interesting.
Yep. Right.
Now, so our next game has been forced upon us by Square.
Yeah, we have been given a clock on time for what we have to do because
Yes.
they're going to be taking away King's Night this upcoming
Wrath of the
June.
Dragon.
It's only
King's
being
Night
tied in
is in this
loosely
game.
because 15 is this accumulation of fucking ideas that, everything has to be 15 now, when it has no fucking ties to it.
Apart from the guys like playing it, apparently. It's not just his favourite mobile game.
Yeah, and that's only a callback to Square's original first title. That's all the fuck it is. And then, guess what? Now
Square
it's
loves
a
doing that to you.
spin-off
Square
game.
loves giving you on your little tropes of euphoria in the backdrop of thinking like, let's play the classics. Let's play the classics. Yeah, we love the classics.
Yeah. So we have until June, is it the 24th to play this game?
Not much time at all, really. We
So
got, like,
if you want to torture yourselves and play along with us,
then just cram it out in the next 2 weeks.
at least it's free.
If your phone is fucking compatible with it.
Oh,
I am not
yeah.
the only one with this issue right now. I have seen tons of posts all over the internet, Reddit, everywhere included, that even top-of-the-line flagship iPhone fucking 7s have had trouble playing this because it says and claims it is not compatible. I am having this issue, people. So, if it gets to be closer to the date, I may just be on here leading you guys on to the episode. Oh, really? You don't say during the episode, because I may not finish this game. I loaded up BlueStacks, which is an Android emulator, yesterday, and guess what? Device not compatible.
Ooh.
This thing is built like fucking trash, and it's almost as bad as when I tried loading Record Keeper on my phone too, so that may not go as well either.
Well, we'll get to that a little bit later, so let's think about our last final thoughts. Anything you guys want to throw at this game for the last little penny's worth of thought?
No. And once we've played King's Light, I'm going to treat myself and I'm going to play that Final Fantasy VII game.
Yeah, right now I'm playing Type 0, so...
We're going to do that Before Crisis remake.
Yes, we are going to do the Before Crisis remake.
Good.
It looks fair. It's Final Fantasy VII. It can't be that bad.
Oh, what? Well, spin-offs. Keyword there, spin-offs.
I don't know, so that's an opinion.
I played the first 5 minutes. It seems reasonable.
All right.
My last thoughts are, thank God it does not have the word Chrono in its name, because, you know, thank God for that, because this originally was prepped ideas for Chrono Break, a third Chrono game. And because there is an article out there with the lead person, Takashi, or whatever his name was, right? Yeah, Takashi Takoda, great name, where he said, yeah, it used to be those Chrono Break, but we changed a few elements and it became Dimensions 2. So I'm happy it taints the FF name more than the Chrono name, I guess.
In fact, actually, if you think about how Morrow looks, now imagine him with red hair.
Yeah.
Kinda.
That's Chrono.
Yeah.
Alright then, guys. I'm going to sign off.
All right, guys. It's nice talking to you all in the world. We're gonna move on. We'll see you in the next episode.
Cool.
Muff, 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 muff,
Muff,
muff,
muff,
muff.
muff.